Hi, and welcome to Bululu Wellness, your guide to well-being. Here, we simplify health with practical and easy-to-use tools to help you live a healthier life. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Bululu Wellness. Today, we are wrapping up this special series by sharing the life experiences of my mom. I believe it's so important to tell this story because it's part of how I was raised and it shows how healing becomes something we can pass down generation to generation. What my mom has lived, learned, and overcome has shaped me. And now it's my turn to continue that work for myself and to share it with you. And the truth is, it doesn't matter at what age you begin. Healing and self discovery can start at any moment of life. My hope is that her story inspires you to keep learning, keep practicing, and to know that it's never too late to reconnect with yourself. Now, disclaimer: healing doesn't just mean curing or getting rid of every pain or illness. Healing means returning to a state of integration and connection with yourself. It's when you can look at your wounds, your story, and your body with compassion and find ways to transform them into strength, peace, or learning. Healing can be physical, the body recovering, emotional, releasing grief or trauma, mental, changing old patterns, or spiritual, reconnecting with something greater. At its core, healing is feeling whole again, even while it's still in process. So, hi, mommy.
Hello, Melly. Good afternoon.
Mom, what does it mean to keep learning and searching for tools throughout your life?
It means really a lot. As we have said in the previous episodes, how learning tools, all these skills have helped us going forward in our lives after we have been through so many traumas. And then for me, I think knowledge is power, that it gives you the power to learn, to change, to motivate yourself, to find purpose in your life, and to learn and transform negative energy and thoughts to find more peace and also be able to pass to our your families, members and people around you. It's about learning how to change limited beliefs and that even sometimes we have been passed through our generations and we unconsciously are reacting, are our doing behaviors different. So for me, knowledge and keep learning, and I think I will keep learning until my last days because it gives me a lot of connection with myself. And in this moment, I am in the big learnings of epigenetics and the biology of trauma.
All right, Mom. So you mentioned epigenetics, but before we get ahead, let me explain to people what epigenetics is, and maybe you can explain a little bit more about how this has been part of your work. So epigenetics is studies how environment, stress, nutrition, or even traumatic experiences can switch on or off certain genes. It doesn't change our DNA, but it does affect how our genes are expressed. This explains why patterns of health or emotions may repeat in families, and also how we can change them through new experiences and practices. So, Mommy, can you explain a little bit more? I mean, like you're mentioning how epigenetics has been your biggest lesson. Like, what did you discover with this, or just can you explain more about that work that you're talking?
Yes, when we came back to the United States, as I said, I am a person that I am always searching to learn. And then I met this professional psychology. I saw his book. The book is It Didn't Start With You: How Inherited Family Trauma Shapes Who We Are and How to End the Cycle, by Mark Walling is the author. He's a psychology teacher that is teaching and doing workshops all over the United States and international. So I was curious about all this knowledge and I contacted him. He is one of the direct students of Bert Hellinger from Germany, where it comes all this knowledge about the family, the systemic family. So we went to work with him, and then I learned about all these epigenetics, how we have been passed patterns, limited beliefs, behaviors that doesn't belong to us really, and how it's affecting our lives in different areas, even in health. And then it was incredibly powerful. It's a long process. This is not just to learn from one day to another one. It's a process, but this understanding really more about our ancestors, about how they have been going in their lives. In my case, there was a lot of anxiety, from my grandmother, my mother, myself, and then me passing to my children too. So it's being more conscious, learning and accepting, and being able with all this work to change and to transform, to do it different, so we can stop or end this cycle. Even I have met my mentor from Peru that is doing the same work, and the book has been translated in different languages. I have been following and doing all his courses about healing to grow, and that allows me also to share with people. I am always a bilingual person who needs to reach all this information to people, English and Spanish, and that's the reason that I get involved with all this, and it has been powerful in my life, and being very free of all these patterns. Sometimes unconsciously we carry anger and frustration, or even blame our parents why they didn't do things well, why they didn't. I didn't feel safe when I was child, but well, you learn and understand that they did the best that they could with the tools that they had, and then we can honor that part, respect them, and change. And really, it's something like a miracle. I cannot explain so much about my experience of this because it will take hours or days. So this has been my experience with epigenetic and with all these teachers, professional teachers that I highly recommend.
Yes, I have worked also with family systems and epigenetics as well. And when I started doing my work, mommy, it was so powerful. I remember walking and finally feeling so much compassion for you the moment you had me as a kid, and how I talked about this in previous episode, but how dysregulated you were, and like just seeing you in a different lens just changed my entire perspective. And sometimes I have clients and patients that come to me, and whenever they have like a lot of physical symptoms, and we go into those history and family history, and I see a lot of trouble or a lot of trauma, and they're not willing to work, it's really interesting that when I do my personal work, I actually feel more like this emotional liberation and empowerment, but also it's been an honor working it with you at the same time because I have seen and I have felt like transformation. It feels like magic. The more you work as a mother, the more are things that are completely to start solving for me, either emotional baggage that I had, or I have better understanding of things. Uh, and I'm not saying that I'm perfect. Some situations will happen in my life, and all of a sudden I have the tools to manage them quickly instead of just turning myself into this emotional turmoil that normally will happen for me. So, have you felt the same way? The more we work together, things start like it's almost like magic, like you said.
That's right. It's about connecting with ourselves and learning. It's not about denying. For example, accept. The acceptance is a big part in this work. Accept the difficult things that is happening, even if it makes you feel fear, anger, or frustration about what you see. But this like honoring everything that we have to live through, accepting what happens to us is our reality. And the way that we choose compassion, and the compassion leads into action without blaming nobody. Because in my life, I have been blaming a lot my parents, what happened to me. And not only my parents, I have been blaming for years myself, feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, all these negative emotions that you don't understand yourself, but then attacking yourself, then that creates all the illness. This is what happened to me. So once that you learn all this work in yourself, it start coming a transformation, a compassion to myself, love to myself, caring, taking care of that one child. I mean, it is really amazing how I can feel that, and at the same time, it's like, oh, I feel different. I think healing to grow for me is very important.
And with all this work that you've been doing and all the work that we've been talking about, there were some physical symptoms, intense symptoms that now you have to work through, which you are a survivor now of both cancer and a brain tumor. And I wanted to ask you, what role did all this play in your diagnosis, but also what role did somatic tools and emotional regulation play in your healing process?
Yeah, the somatic exercises is another big and powerful tools all together. When I put all this together, as I said, I am a survivor of cancer and a brain tumor. But the way I was taking all these symptoms, of course, it is fear, concern, pain, but putting together and applying this in a loving compassion is like seeing the illness, like I heard many people, rejecting something that you have, is the opposite. Is in a situation that you have illness and even cancer, is understanding the cancer to understand yourself, what happened to you, instead of rejecting. And the same thing with the pain. There's pain in the body. Okay, nowadays with the somatic word that I have learned and I keep learning, is about talking to my part of my body where the pain is and saying, okay, pain, here I am with you. What is it that you need from me? What can I do for you? Is being connected more. And it's incredible what happens in that moment. I can share how amazing I am in this moment with all this radiation treatment, that when I go, I just says, okay, here we are going to be healed. I will be holding you. I am with you. We are healing. And in that process of being in that machine 10 minutes, it seems to me less than 5 minutes. It's passed so fast, but inside me, there is this calm, there is this peace. Somatic exercises helps you to regulate your nervous system to have more capacity for responses of stress, of fear or anxiety. So this is what, from my life experience, I want to share to everybody who might be having a diagnosis or anything in their lives, how seeing sometimes opportunities in crisis as a gift that we can develop, accepting without resisting, because what you resist, it persists. So it's about training your mind to be able to see the good in every situation. And this is where I am in this moment. This is what I want to share. Even for me, nowadays, is like I am curious in learning about myself, right? 2 years ago, I even had terrible pains in my foot, terrible pains. I had a mortal neuroma. I couldn't walk. What I did is I took a course online, international course of reflexology, with my teacher. I found also an incredible teacher, Jonathan Eppelman, where I learned, but for myself. People are taking it as a professional for working with patients. No, I do it for myself, connecting with my body. What is my feet going on? What does my feet needs? What to do with all the massage? I learned everything. I don't have a mortal neuroma. It's gone. My feet is okay. I can walk. So all these tools are really powerful, are a miracle. So I highly recommend. And you, as a professional with all this work, it is incredible how people can count on you also teaching all this somatic work.
Let me warn everybody that is listening how my mom has transformed herself, because in the past, her ways of receiving certain news or information. She was always go, 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 rush, 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 and maybe getting a little bit too angsty. Maybe, it was a different way. She wouldn't maybe be so connected with her body and listening to her body. And I think somatic practices have helped her so, so much. But somebody asked me what is somatics because I really want to get into it. And I know that there's many ways that people practice their somatic exercises. So I just wanted to say that somatic means of the body, and they are body based exercises that help regulate the nervous system and process emotions. They include breathing, mindful movement, gentle self touch, or grounding techniques. And they also help the body move out the tension, the anxiety, or the trauma, restoring a sense of safety. Mommy, in all this search and all these things, I felt that I have so many pieces of the puzzle, but for some reason, I couldn't find or I couldn't see the whole puzzle in one image. And I couldn't find a person that will speak my language because I had the somatic, I have the nutrition, I have the physiology, I have the exercise, the movement, and nobody really talked my language until I saw Dr. Amy with the biology of trauma talk about how these traumatic experiences leave the body in this emotional turmoil, but also this physiological imprint. So, in how trauma really affects our hormones, our immune system, our digestion, our energy, in that healing really requires working not just with the mind, but also with the body and its biology. And I know that you and I have been sharing a lot of this biology of trauma. So tell me, what did biology of trauma mean to you, and how did it change the way you understand yourself and others?
Learning about biology of trauma has been another powerful tool inside me, really. Following that, thanks to you, I feel proud what you are doing in this professional program, and thank you for the book that is releasing September 23. Thank you for my birthday present that the book is arriving, The Biology of Trauma. I am excited. And then it had helped me following this course about understanding myself, what happened to me, what is it that it was irregulated all my nervous system, that they became trapped in the cells of the body, because biology of trauma explains that how what happened to you, is not what happened to you, it's what happened inside your body that affects you and is trapped under cellular level. And understanding all this gives you an awakening. Okay, I didn't know what to do with my body, I didn't know how to regulate my nervous system, what do I need to do that? And then following all this, it has been so powerful. I'm being liberated of all emotions that has been trapped also, not accepting myself, feeling guilty, beating my body, and I am clear about where it comes, all illness, all conditions, but then how to transform that energy. What am I going to do? Taking responsibility, doing actions. And I think all these things leads you to be when you are more calm. I'm experienced that when you are more calm and acceptance with love and compassion, the healing process it's easier. And I am not having side effects like they were expecting having side effects. And I think it has to do and related with all this that we are practicing and we are learning, and it has been incredible. It is powerful.
It is definitely powerful, mommy. And we continue to learn and we continue to be in this healing process because it is a process. Nothing is finished. And we will continue learning together from now on. And I will continue sharing more in this podcast with people as I learn. So, to close this series together, today, after everything you've been through, what message would you like to leave for people who are facing a difficult diagnosis or who feel burdened by family patterns they don't understand?
I highly recommend having knowledge, having tools. This is very important because we can do it by ourselves alone. So for me, it's The high recommendation is to read the book It Didn't Start With You, with Mark Volin, the author. Next month coming, The Biology of Trauma, so we can understand each other first, to understand others also, and see others with love and compassion. This is very important. So I highly recommend this. I highly recommend seeking for professional people that guides this kind of work, and also like Melissa is doing a lot of professional work with the biology of trauma. I feel proud of her. She has a purpose of life, and I think I have also, that I am here to share, to give information, to give support, even to recommend professional people if they want to do this work also in English or Spanish. So I am here. They can contact me anytime. I'm open in Facebook, in Instagram. I am a person that probably I am not that professional like Melly, but my heart it's open. It has a purpose to share people that might be happening in situations like this. They can be more aware, yeah, that there is hope, there is help, how to regulate your nervous system, how to be more in peace, in calm, and more healthy. So this is my message for me, for everybody, from me, for everybody. Nelly Mastroeni, I'm here for you always.
I love that. Well, my mom is a very petite person with the biggest heart of all, and she just welcomed you to her entire Instagram, social media, Facebook, anywhere. You can find her, Nelly Mastrani. And I am so honored, Mommy, to share this series with you. Like I said, it's been such a learning, just learning your life and you sharing it with the world. It just makes my heart so happy. So thank you so much for being here, part of this project. I love you very much.
Thank you, Melly. Also, I feel proud of you. I wish you the best into your new way to the doctorate. And you are an incredible professional. I love you and I feel proud of you. Thank you for being part of your project.
If you enjoy what you hear, subscribe and share it with someone who might need it. The more people join us, the closer we get to building a wellness community for everyone. Thank you for being here. Now let's navigate this bululu together. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any condition or disease. If you need help, please seek professional care.